Hi guys, let's play a bit with our friend Bizarro. And essentially, as you can see, I raised my combat rating to 67, and I tweaked also my loadout a bit. I'm gonna try a new loadout, so if I appear completely lost or confused, it's normal. I'm not that familiar with that loadout. So let us start with let's start with the mission that still works. I'll start by doing the solo missions, and then we'll try to do maybe a duo or two. So usually this mission is right here, so let's get started. Usually I'll get rid of the part where you need to let's say carry robot parts. The part is not here anymore. Oh yeah, there it is. So we only need one more. Let's go here. So normally I should be able to pretty much regenerate my power as quickly as I use it. One more and we'll be good to go.
At this rate, Steel will have to dumpster dive behind the discount electronics store to find any spare parts. Without an army of those transport robots, Steel will have a hard time collecting the spare parts he needs to repair his robots. I've got one more teensy-weensy task. Steel has been hiding the latest research experiments in the building nearby. Acquire whatever data he can collect.
I'll Obviously, I messed up somehow. Not sure how I burned all my power. My bad.
That scoundrel! That incorrigible shark! I won't stand for him stealing my experiments. First he horns in on tachyon research with his scrambler, and now this! I don't much care for his table-turning nonsense. Thank you for taking care of it.
I should have a base right there. Actually, my character's base is right here. Oh no, that's not him. But it'll work anyway. That'll do. That'll do. So let's go straight to Arkham Island, and then we'll try to do a few duos. And essentially, there's probably a few missions that we could play. Like, yeah, essentially, the police station is a mission that would give us some good loot. So we'll probably try and play that after. And I know that technically we're not supposed to be able to do those missions at combat rating 67, but I cheated a bit. Essentially, I raised my combat rating to 70. Essentially, I have a weapon. I think it's in my bank. I have a weapon essentially that's higher level, so I just equipped 1 point in the shield weapon. And even though I'm not using the weapon, it still raises my combat rating, which is how I was able to reach combat rating 70. Well, that's how I'm able to do missions that are tier 4. Even technically, my equipped combat rating is only 67, but my actual combat rating is 70 thanks to that weapon that I'm not really using. So the weapon doesn't help me in the sense that I can't use it really, but it does help me raise my combat rating and gain access to the next tier. So it's good. It's good at least for that. And I probably should play the Catwoman mission also again, since it's a good mission to get some gear. And even with the gear I have right now, there's probably a piece of gear or two I could still replace. Let's see, 62. Oh, maybe not. Maybe a mask, but the odds of getting the Catwoman mask are not very good. I thought this was the mission. I'm not sure why the quest tracker is all messed up.
Exercise is a key component to a healthy mind.
Poison ivy
Wrong
produces
plant.
the most amazing plant creatures, all of whom are fanatically devoted to her. I think you can use plant pheromones to induce loyalty and convince some of her plant creatures.
It's been a while since I did those missions,
Must be in
so
disguise for this to work. Use the verdant disguise includer. It's my own ingenious invention to create and maintain a holographic disguise based on one of Poison Ivy's minions. Nothing will be accomplished if you look like yourself. They must believe Ivy is behind this, and you must be careful.
so here we have our two friends who will follow us, and we have to go beat up Some evil Mr. Freeze henchmen, while we're disguised as
are
plant
fascinating.
people,
I look forward to utilizing
and with our two plant friends.
But for now, use them to lead an army of plant creatures against Mr. Freeze.
As you can see, even under gear, the ice is powerful enough to beat the snout out of those poor little guys. And yeah, it's ironic seeing Mr. Freeze's goons defeated by ice powers, but that's how the mechanic of the game works. Hi, Marixu. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Played Neverwinter a bit earlier this morning. Hey, Delas. So we only need to defeat the boss now. It should be somewhere. There he is. This used to be the look we had when we had the ice armor in the past. So you made a Zurinar lantern. That's impossible. I assume you made a Batman lantern and gave him the look of the Batman of Zurinar. The look is kind of weird, but kind of fun too.
You really whipped those plant creatures into a violent frenzy.
So let's see if we have anything in those boxes or not. Crap. And nothing. At least we got our marks of victory. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't have to be. So essentially, you made a lantern with the color palette of Batman of Zurinar. That's cool. So it could be the lantern of Sector whatever that Zurinar is into. It's a nice change of pace from Green Lanterns being green, white, and black, which is sort of what I did also with my Alan Scott Green Lantern. Let's see if we got anything. Oh, one more skill point. So essentially what I did to be able to gain combat rating 70 is that I added one skill point in shield. And thanks to a shield I have in my bank, I was able to increase my combat rating, even though I'm not using the shield. Oh, the menu has been going crazy a bit. So essentially, is this little shield, even though I'm not using it, it's raising my combat rating. I think that's the best weapon I have. I'll keep my skill point and in reserve. I'm going to do a little trick a bit later. So let's see. So let's try the police station. No, that was quick. So the reason why I do this mission is quite simple. Uh, we have like 4 or 5 chances of getting a good piece of gear.
The security breach
So
has
with a bit
decided
of
to
luck,
race on
we'll
edge.
raise our combat
They're using
rating.
experimental inhumane technology on every crook in custody, from street thugs to pedophiles.
Hi, Irobrini Jr. Not sure why our friend is combat rating 58. That is kind of low, I think, for this mission. Or is it? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the thing with the Zurinar style. It was kind of hard to find a style where you could have the chest one color and the arms another color. The Guy Gardner style makes some sort of sense.
You don't want to make me raise my voice. Even going to make it a fight.
No, nothing really worth. I could take this for the style, but let's go for the market victory. Oh, thank you, Scarbelly. Hi, S Diva, SC Diva, or CS Diva. Oh, some nice boots. That will be good. So the boost will probably raise our combat rating to 70 for reals. Yeah, I do have heroes. I have heroes and villains. Not sure where where our friend was going. Oh, it's even more than that. The Grodd has been confirmed for not just the Flash, but also for Legends of Tomorrow season 2. Essentially, in Legends of Tomorrow, they will be facing the Legions of Doom, and Grodd will be part of that. Will he be the leader of the Legions of Doom like it was in the Justice League animated series, or just one of its many members? We don't know that yet, but we know he's going to be part of that. So if you guys liked Grodd last year, or yeah, well, actually in the first 2 seasons, you'll get more of him soon. Why am I not surprised?
Hey, buddy, thanks for springing.
Yeah, we heard about that. Well, that was to be expected. He did not even need to tease it. We pretty much knew it was coming. Essentially, they're redoing the death of Superman storyline. So obviously, when he's going to come back, he will come back with the black costume. Sure, they could decide to go to get away from that. Okay, where's the other guy? Yeah, I saw a few bits of the Batman VR, although we haven't seen much, so it's hard to tell.
I knew you would win. I really did. The request I sent
It
out
could be
this
awesome,
was
and it could be
just a
uber
reminder.
lame, so we don't really know what to expect.
Well, maybe not just yet. More of the Justice Leaguers are on their way.
Is it
Let's
a 60
get out
minute?
of
Is
there.
it that short? Just 60 minutes?
You know, Gotham City and Metropolis are like night and day. Bottled by Brainiac.
Hi, Papa Flaming. So yeah, I didn't have much information. I saw essentially a video about the Batman VR, but what we mostly see is people's reaction to playing or testing the game, I suppose. But we haven't. They showed a few bits and pieces of gameplay, but not very little. So essentially, we saw a few bits from the point of view of the people playing the game, but nothing really to go crazy over. Like is the gameplay good? Is it not good? And how do you move around? These are all things that are kind of important, and we have no indication so far how it's going to work out. So let's see. I thought I had a mod. I'm probably thinking of Bizarro, I suppose. So I guess I'm going to wait until we see more footage and more example of gameplay before getting excited. But sure, the idea seems promising. But sadly, so far, whenever they've been coming up with things like Essentially, when they were talking about the Wii or what was it for the PlayStation Move. Yeah, in theory, these seems like a good idea, but in practice, what they end up doing with those, sometimes not so good. So I'm optimistic, but I'll be cautious a bit. I guess my boots aren't that much better. I thought they had better boots than that. No, I haven't played Skyrim. I have friends who play it, and they tried to convince me to play. The very first turn off for me was the interface. Oh, I already saw Stranger Things. It's pretty awesome. It's great in the sense that it doesn't really it takes a lot of inspiration from the 80s, but it's more or less its own thing. Sure, it's a hodgepodge of a lot of things from the 80s, but in a good way. And the characters are really good. Like you sadly too often when shows are using kids as actors, sadly way too often we end up with things like with actors like Anakin and the Star Wars prequels. I'm talking about the young one and not the Aiden Christensen one. So often we'll end up with not so good actors thanks to that. Oh yeah, we have access to those. Okay. Hi, Dasher win. So that's why I thought the combat rating of our friend was a little low. It's me was too high. But no, Stranger Things on Netflix, that's pretty awesome. If you guys get the chance, give that show a chance. It's really fun to watch.
Do not delay.
And the kids are really good. Usually, very often, kid actors pretty much stinks. But those kids, they chose some really good kids, or they gave them roles that they were able to play as themselves. And that could be that too. I've seen a few people complain about Winona Ryder's performance. I thought she was really good in the show. All the characters are good. I can't. There's no one character that. Yes, I'm an evil villain because villainy is evil or something like that. So I thought Winona Ryder did a good job, but there are people who complained about her performance somehow. But all the actors did a good job. The guy playing the sheriff did a good job. I can't think of any actor who did a poor job. And even the CGI for in the show and for the monster, it was okay for a TV show. They did it was fine. It wasn't movie quality, but it didn't have to be. I tweaked my colors a bit the other day. I think in the last stream or the one before. Even had one of you guys to make suggestions, I think. Or maybe I'm thinking of Bizarro. That could be. Yeah, they've announced Stranger Things 2 already. We have to wonder.
The first results of Brainiac's attacks on the magical realms were seen here in the where Madame Xanadu's magic.
We have to wonder: is it going to be a continuation of the previous season, which it could be, the way it ends. I play as both. I play villain and heroes. It depends on when you catch me playing. Like I think last time I played with Bizarro, but the time before that I played with Alan Scott. It essentially depends which character I'm trying to level up for reasons. But right now I'm trying to get my Bizarro up to at least tier 5 to be able to get the Bizarro tank top. But for a long time I would play mostly heroes, so it alternates. But for Stranger Things, they could continue the story where it ended at the end of season 1. Although there are people who suggest that they could probably do something like American Horror Story, where each season is a new story, like a sort of Twilight Zone thing, where it's different from season to season.
Created by the realm itself in response to Brainiac's incursion, but he has taken control of it. Then we have no
Well, that's the whole thing. Do they have more stories to tell with 11? Are they done with their story? We don't know that yet. If they have more stories with her, that's fine. You have to get it in Striker Prison. It's a tier 3 alert, I think. So you're gonna have to cure for it, or if you want to play it solo, you're gonna have to go in there with I don't know, combat rating 90 character, maybe more. Oh yeah, you can get it as a villain. Villains and heroes both have access to that mission. Or you could purchase it from the broker. That's the less. No, it's part of the free to play package. So if you have access to the game free to play, you have access to Striker. I could show it to you in the on duty menu after this mission. I can't show it to you right now because if I go into the on duty menu, that's what happens.
Victory is ours. The realm of magic is safe for Brady. Now, on to other matters, like your destruction, Wonder Woman.
The villain's Central City style? No, I don't mind. I would have to switch characters to do that though. Or if you ask nicely, maybe I'll make a video about it. But it's going to be with the, I was about to say the fat body. Well, no problem, the laws. I'll just charge you $50,000 for that. Plus taxes, of course. No, that won't really be helpful. Now let's go for the hand blasters.
Century, but I've been programmed to communicate like a robot from your time. Beep.
Beep, boop, bee, Brainiac.
This is Wonder Woman. If you find this orb, take courage.
Well, this character doesn't have the Central City gear. I would have to load in a character that has the gear.
Guard me while I cast the spell.
Yeah, I did make Captain Cold Hood flashback. You should. So if you're looking for information about that, there's always the flashback.
You've made your point. You will have everything you desire, Jim. Simply
I didn't remember we had to. I guess I did this mission too often as a hero.
Oh my.
Maybe next time for the
Have
hero.
shown your true power this day. Together, the world will be no match for
If you have
us.
a hero in mind that you'd like me to play, now's the time to ask, and I'll see what I can do next time I play.
Magic holds all the secrets of the universe. It is the power of gods. With it, you can control the very mysteries of life. Bend all
Saturn
lesser
Titan
gods to
would
your
probably make
will.
more sense. Although Eon is good, but there was this character Eon in the Quasar series, the Quasar ongoing series. So I guess I would go with Saturn Titan if I was you. But I have a soft spot for Saturn. I have a few characters, well, a few characters I created that were Saturn related. Okay, for the Captain Cold Hood, essentially you need to play the mission. Oh, there it is. It's a tier 3 mission. It's Striker Island Penitentiary. You have to be combat rating 53 up to 79. You can also play this mission solo. There is a portal outside of Striker Island, of Striker Prison, so that you can enter. But if you want to do that solo, I guess you have to be at least combat rating 90, 100. It's been a while since I done it solo not too long ago, but it was with a fairly high level character. So I'm not sure how high you need to be. So for the Central City style, let me take a note. I'll make a flash fact for with the Central City style if you wish. So by the end of the day, I should be able to put that up if it's okay. Because otherwise, it would mean loading my Galactus, and so I'll just make a quick video with that if you don't mind. Central City. And I'll make both the heroes and villain style so that no one feels left out. Is it a briefing? The Captain Cold Hood? No, it's a drop. It's a rare drop. Again, if you, I explained it properly in the flash fact, but essentially it's a random drop that you get, and it's a rare drop. So if you can afford it, I suggest you buy it from the broker. It's a bit expensive, but it's better than doing the Striker Island Prison mission. I don't know, 153 times. And you may think that I'm exaggerating, but it is in that you're gonna have to play Striker Prison a lot because the odds of the weapon dropping for you are very slim. So let's see if I can raise my combat rating a bit more. So that's why I saved up one of my skill points earlier. So let's see. Oh, wrong one. And blasters. So that did raise my combat rating by one, or so it seems. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a random drop. Whether you kill Captain Cold first or last, it won't make a difference on if you get the hood or not. The thing is, it's a random drop, so it has nothing to do with when you kill Captain Cold. It's just you have to be lucky. It's that simple. So let's try another one. Oh, no problem, Delos. Oh, it's just you just got lucky. Sometimes I know that sometimes we'll do something and think that it has some incidents on how on what happened, but sometimes it's just pure luck. It just happened. You just happen to be lucky as you defeated the cold blast. But because there's not, if there was, if you could get, let's say, the Captain Cold hood and the Heat Wave chest and the Mirror Master headpiece, let's say, if each rogues gave a piece of gear and somehow and somehow killing the rogues would give you that piece of gear, I'd agree with you. But there is only the Captain Cold hood. Like everything else is like random stuff, and it's just a matter of being lucky and getting the hood. And the hood is pretty rare, or at least you have to be really lucky to get it. So if luck is not your friend, I strongly suggest that you should get that you should buy it from the broker. That's the less painful option.
You're in. First, we'll need to hack 3 separate terminals to gain access to the central core. I used Brainiac
What
key
would be my
signatures to locate
origin
the
in
door to the
this
first terminal
universe?
and the
Would
first
probably
combination.
be some like kind of soldier trained by the army or something like that. Not sure where our friend is going. Probably something not unlike the Deathstroke origin, where he was trained in the army, and then he was part of some sort of a secret experiment. And of course, I would probably turn into a villain, of course. Either that or I would be an evil version like the calculator.
One down. Docking bay alpha door down.
Where not Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson.
Cybernetic life forms to communicate via search, courtesy of T.O.
Come on, no one wants to be Wade Wilson unless you're nuts or something. Exactly. He's Deadpool. He's ugly underneath his mask. Who wants to be ugly?
That's 2. Opening life support systems for business.
Uh, I assume so. It was supposed to be up for until what was it, August 21st or something? But I'm legendary, so it doesn't really matter if there. It could be up for 50 days or 50 minutes. That doesn't really matter to me. Although the Wonder Woman emblem will not be available anymore if you did not use that. So if you did not use your Wonder Woman emblem yet, do so because just in a few days it won't be available anymore. From what I understand, unless they change that. I'm pretty sure they mentioned how the emblem would only be available until the 21st. I don't think Darkseid was motivated because he was ugly. I think he just so happened to be ugly.
So much for 3. And docking bay beta is unlocked. That entire area is Brainiac loaded, so heads up.
And Darkseid isn't ugly. He looks awesome with his rock-like features. Are you saying you wouldn't like to look like Darkseid?
Security alarms are
Maybe.
Keep those turrets activated. I'm on it.
Well, Star Fox is cheating. He's not only good looking, he has like empathic powers that allows him to charm people. So he's a cheater, pumpkin eater.
It's about time.
Seems trickier than I expected. Hang in there.
Yeah, I saw Justice League War. I think I saw pretty much all the Justice League animated film.
Alarm off.
I think the only one I haven't seen is the Brainiac one.
Get in there and light this place up before the satellite
Is it the Brainiac
realizes we're
one?
still
Like,
here.
Core data wipe in progress. Initializing prototype of key information parameters.
but essentially, Justice League War was the first 6 issues of the new Justice League. When they restarted Justice League with the new 52. So if you read those comics, you essentially know what happens in the film.
Terminate flawed organic prototype of this unit. Searching. Location found.
Although they took Aquaman out of Justice League War and replaced him with Captain Marvel, aka Shazam,
Data Core
for
created a
reasons.
Brainiac robot Joker? Who's going to kill the real Joker? I'll bet money it's not going to stop there. Follow that robot to Arkham before it kills us all.
I hate this place. Trinity War is a little different.
Ensure this unique ore is properly used to imbue science with all 4 primary elements.
I'm not sure what our friend is doing.
Oh, and now Brainiac's here too. Quick, use the terminal and call
Oh, I see. He was already here.
Error.
Oh, Brainiac can't send just one killer robot. Oh no. Place is rigged. Use the terminal. Watch it blow.
I guess our friend didn't know he had to activate the consoles and tried to just kill the clowns. Or the inmates, I should say. Well, no, I saw Justice League War. I wasn't too crazy about that. Uh, but they've been struggling with their animated features for quite a bit now. Ah, he's awesome. He's one of the best Joker we ever had. Holy crap! Again, pistols and then blasters.
It's wired to that console exactly with a zillion volts. I've already had too much fun for one day.
Mark Hamill is awesome. It's pretty impressive to see how he reinvented himself doing voice acting. I guess he didn't have much of a choice. People, producers probably weren't willing to give him work because he was very identified with being Luke Skywalker. But by being by doing voice acting, it didn't matter as much if he was Luke Skywalker or not. And I think he started doing voice acting for video games at first, and later on did animated TV work. I'm not sure if the Batman Adventures was his first animated series. I would have to check. Sadly, you're not going to see Inhumans. At least not the Inhuman movie that we're planning. But we're supposed to see more Inhumans in the Agents of Shield's TV show. So if you're lucky, you may be able to get your Inhuman fix through that. Although I don't think Inhumans were as popular as they hoped they would be. Essentially, they've been trying to replace their mutants with the Inhumans, and they've been trying to push Inhumans in other medias to reflect that. And sadly, the reception has been lukewarm as best, if not a bit of a disaster. In terms of comics, sales really didn't take off at all. And in terms of Agents of Shield, featuring the Inhumans really didn't help them very much. And from what we can see in the few bits we saw so far, they may be distancing themselves from Inhumans in the next season of Agents of Shield. They're going to go more in the direction of Ghost Rider and some I don't know, mystical mumbo jumbo like that. And of course, the Inhuman movie has been supposedly it's been postponed, but we all know it's pretty much been canceled. So let's try one more duo. There's only one left, anyways. But it was crazy thinking that we would see the Inhumans, especially in movie format. But sadly, they seem to want there seem to be this cleavage between the movie studio and the TV studio. I know that sometimes it's tempting to think that since they're all under the same banner, they're all under the same Marvel banner. Sadly, very often these are the different divisions are pretty much companies of their own. And you can see even the movie studio is trying to distance themselves from the rest of Marvel by rebranding themselves Marvel Studios.
The Watchtower. Yes. Yes, the Mother
as opposed to just Marvel, which essentially covered everything. Now they see there's going to be a pretty clear cleavage between Marvel and Marvel Studios. It would be nice if the DC universe was, well. It depends. I guess it would be nice if the DC universe was real. I understood what you meant. It's okay. I guess it would be nice if you were one of the lucky few who had superpowers. But if you're just one of the Joe Schmo whose car get wrecked by a battle between Superman and Metallo, I'm not sure you would enjoy it that much. Hello, Black Fly. And lately, the evil YouTube keeps on giving me recommendation to watch Teen Titan Go video clips, like short clips of 1 or 2 minutes. It's kind of cute. Sadly, it skews way too young for an old warhorse like me. But I can see how some kids probably enjoy that kind of show. Although it's trying too much to be a little edgy sometimes. With barf jokes and PP jokes. Sometimes it feels like they're taking a lot of their inspiration from Ren and Stimpy. Well, already even the first Teen Titan was at the time it played. I was way too old for that show. Again, I can see how a younger audience probably could have enjoyed it. I was too much of an old fart for that. Unlike for a show like Young Justice, it was I thought it was much better. I thought a show like Young Justice I thought could please to everyone. As opposed to the Teen Titans, that was clearly aimed at a younger audience, and although it does have a lot of Easter eggs, that's pretty much all you could get. If you were an old fart like me, sure, seeing some of the Easter eggs was you could chuckle at some of those Easter eggs, but overall the show is aimed at such a young audience that it's kind of hard to enjoy it if you're older. But sure, they did a good job at capturing the essence of the characters. Like Raven is pretty awesome. Even in the Teen Titans Go, Raven is one of the fun characters to look at. Like the characters are kind of fun, so I can see how kids probably enjoy that show. But as an old guy, once in a while there'll be an episode that will be kind of fun. But overall, it's not. It's a mission in the Watchtower. You have to be an evil villain to be able to play this mission, and it's one of the tier 4 duos. Depends which half you're talking about for the Batman TV shows. The Batman Adventures was one of those shows that pretty much were that could be appreciated by everyone. I think whether you were a kid or an old fart, there was something for you to enjoy. But I tried to watch, what was it called? They did another Batman show at some point called The Batman. And it was kind of fun to watch a handful of episodes, but overall, you could clearly see that that show was aimed, they were trying to sell toys. It's pretty much that simple. Toys and action figure was pretty much the focus, the whole focus of that show.
Let me out of here. Don't just stand there. We won't need long to recover. Free me. Now.
And there was the Brave and the Bold, and I remember at first I thought it was again a show for kids, and then I watched a handful of episodes, and holy crap, that was awesome. Again, it was yeah, it was a bit childish sometimes, but it was using the rich history of the DC universe very well, and all the Easter eggs, you could if you could really appreciate all those Easter eggs and how they were inspired by a lot of the stuff from the Silver Age.
That key code looks corrupted, but it's probably a good idea to hold on to it.
I'm not sure which one you mean. I guess you're talking maybe about the Batman. I don't think that the Bruce Timm Batman was childish in the fourth season, but maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, the guy took you some getting used to. Once you got used to what's his name? His name escapes me. Anyway, once you got used to the guy but doing the Batman voice in Batman the animated series, it was kind of hard to hear someone else play the role of Batman. But after a handful of episodes or two, I got kind of used to the voice of the guy playing Batman in The Brave and the Bold, so I didn't mind it as much after a while. Hey Glitchy, how are you today? Oh, wrong one. There we go. Essentially, I was into the first episode I saw of The Brave and the Bold, which essentially convinced me that this was an awesome show. Was the episode with Ted Kord, where essentially you have Batman and you have Blue Beetle, where essentially trying to sneak into some place, and uh, and they both compare their gadgets and their techniques and their strategy, and it was nice. Kevin Conroy, that's it. So essentially they were both comparing their strategies and their techniques and their gadgets. Essentially, they both had the same gadgets but different versions. And yeah, Kevin Conroy is the ultimate Batman. But after a while, I got used to the Batman from the Brave and the Bold, so it wasn't too bad. So let's see what else can we play. So I already did the one player missions. Oh yeah, Central City. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, he is, and not too long ago he was mentioning how he was sad to see that they were making Batman kill in the movies. In his mind, Batman does not kill. He should not. He would not. He does not kill. But sadly, that seems to be the producer's way to try to make him more edgy or something, like making him more brutal and making him kill somehow for reasons. But well, what can you do? So let's talk to our old friend here.
Ah, yes. Another specimen. Oh, you're not one of them.
Usually I keep our friend Zoom for last, but now let's do him first.
To exploit the extra speed force energy. This will help you run down those foolish citizens.
Oh, it's a cape from the character creation. What's it called again? I think it's called the Tattered Cape or something. You can select it right at character creation. That's one of the, I don't know, 10 or 12 capes you have at the time. Yeah, that's it, the Tattered Cape or Tatered. Oh, and let's pull back the camera. No, classic is something else. This one is tattered. It's like ripped a bit to shreds. Oh, no problem. And no, sadly, guys, I did not see Suicide Squad yet, so I won't really be able to talk about it. All I could really talk about is the like 67% drop it got at the box office, and I don't really want to talk about that, so we're not going to talk about the Suicide Squad, sadly. There's been a few announcements that were made, although some had been made some time ago. Like essentially, we're going to get a musical episode of. I'm not sure if it's going to be Flash or Supergirl, but essentially, it's going to be a crossover between Flash and Supergirl, and it's going to be a musical. Probably because they have some sort of Broadway experience, or they played in what was it, the show Glee together. So I guess someone thought that it would be a good idea to have a singing episode or something. No, I'm okay. And he's an evil villain. Don't call my villain a hero. He's going to be sad if you do that. I'm not sure where you get the Barbarian Cape. Oh, it could be. I'm not sure what the context will be for the musical episode. And so far, people think it's an odd choice. Like, it's not as if we had the musical episodes before and The Flash and Supergirl. So how are they going to work it in? Well, Captain Cold, spoiler alert, Captain Cold's dead. They killed him in Legends of Tomorrow at the end of the season. And there was this really touching scene between him and Heatwave, where essentially Heatwave goes a bit in the past to essentially say goodbye to his friend. And Heatwave is supposed to be the gruff one with no emotions or no feelings or something. And so it was really touching to see him go see his friend and try to be touchy-feely and of course Captain Cold didn't quite understand what was going on because he was wondering like since when are you touchy-feely or something. Well, I guess we're done with this one here. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. It was a really touching moment, and I remember I didn't like when I first when I first heard he was going to play Heat Wave. Like the guy playing Captain Cold, I didn't know him very much, so I didn't really. But I could imagine him being Captain Cold. That was fine. But when they announced the guy playing Heat Wave, the only thing I had seen with him before was his role as Dracula in the Blade, the third Blade movie, which was all kinds of awful. So I remember at the time I was thinking like, holy crap, that guy is going to be awful as Heatwave. And the first episode, I was really not sure. I was like, yeah, what was that? And it took me, I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes before I started getting used to Heatwave. And after his role in Legends of Tomorrow, holy crap, I love the guy now. I can't see anyone else play Heatwave. And the same with Captain Cold. Captain Cold was really good in The Flash, and even better in Legends of Tomorrow. Like the scene when he goes back in time to try and prevent his dad from going to jail, and then you have that scene with Leonard with his younger self, Leo. Holy crap, that was good. So I remember I wasn't thinking much of him at first, but I thought, okay, yeah, I could see him being Captain Cole. And Heatwave, I didn't like the guy at first because I thought he was awful in Blade. But then again, everyone was awful in Blade, so I shouldn't blame him. But he won me over with his role as Heatwave. Holy crap, was he awesome! And now I can't imagine anyone else playing the role. And even now, when I see Heatwave in DC Universe Online, I can't help but think of the guy. He was so awesome. Oh yeah, they did a really good job to flesh out Captain Cold, and of course they had to make his father being Michael Ironside. Holy crap, that was awesome.
When I am free, you will pay with your life.
Probably there's a few alternate realities where Captain Cold actually was a hero. Essentially in Flashpoint, that's probably the best example. In Flashpoint, Captain Cold was the hero. He was called Citizen Cold or something. And there was also this future version of Captain Cold, which also was a hero. Oh yeah, the Dracula and Blade 3. Oh, holy crap, was that? It was a disaster, but the whole movie was a disaster. So again, we can't really blame the guy who was playing Dracula. He was in a poor film, and he probably was poorly directed. And a lot of the choices were 10 kinds of awful, and a lot of that probably wasn't his fault. Like he's not the guy who wrote the film. He just tried to play the villain.
Pathetic existence is meaningless. You may have captured me, but we will destroy this timeline. When I am free, you will pay with your life.
Yeah, I saw some of they do things they do essentially the same thing that what's it called, Watch Mojo does. They do some sort of top 10 or something like that. Once in a while I'll check some of their videos. Sometimes I don't really agree with their lists, so I don't watch them all that often. But once in a while, if they're talking about something that really interests me, then I'll take a quick look at their list. But very often their choices are flawed or poorly. I was about to say poorly explained, but that's not really. Sometimes their reasoning is a bit flawed, and sometimes they don't think through their choices.
When I am free, you will pay with your life.
But once in a while, it's one of the things that YouTube keeps on recommending to me.
Where do you think you are taking me?
Those top 10 sites, sadly, too often either they do poor research, or maybe sometimes they try to just be funny or something, and they give the wrong information, but they're just trying to make a joke or something. That could be.
Captured me, but we will destroy this timeline.
Because a lot of those channels do the same thing, whether it's what's it called, whether it's Cinema Sins, when they do their sin videos, sometimes you can see that they're stretching something, the truth, or they're stretching something to just to try to make a joke. And sometimes you have to know that even they must know that what they're saying makes no sense, but they're trying to be funny. So, but sometimes they fail a bit miserably. And sadly for Cinema Sins, when they're talking about a movie you haven't seen, it's not as funny as if they're talking about something you actually have seen. Oh, it's okay if Vlad was evil, but holy crap, he was really poorly used in that film. But all the villains were like all the villains in Blade 3 was 10 kinds of not awesome. The villains in Blade 3 were very weak, but then again, pretty much everything wasn't very good in that film. Although the what's his name? I suppose it does. Although Ryan Reynolds was okay as a Hannibal King. Even Jessica Biel, she was okay as that pseudo kick-ass vampire hunter. Of course, then you had to wonder, like these were vampires were supposed to be stronger, faster, and all that good stuff. And the only reason Blade was supposed to be able to fight them is because he was as strong and as fast as them, thanks to him being a half vampire. But then you had Hannibal King. It was just a guy, and the same with what was her name? Whistler, Abigail Whistler. Uh, these guys were humans. They had no super strength, no super speed, no nothing. But and then still they could kill hordes of vampires. So it was a little poorly thought out. Maybe he's not Flash. He's actually Zoom, because Zoom is the one with the blue lightning, right? It's probably just a creative choice. Essentially, they're going to go so much against the grain to try to put their own marks on the characters. So essentially, they try to have a badass Superman who kills when Superman doesn't kill. They try to have, again, Batman, the same thing, a badass Batman that kills when Batman should not be killing. And for the Flash, they're trying to go against the grain as well, and they're trying to tweak his powers. Like he's not so much going fast as doing some sort of quantum tunneling or something. And the same with the lightning. Like, he has a yellow lightning in real life in the comics. Well, in real life, let's give him blue lightning instead. They're trying to be different, just to be different and leave their mark. And sadly, it's never a really good idea.
You cannot close all the ruptures.
Come on. Imagine you go watch the new Flash movie and realize that, holy crap, it's the adventures of Zoom, who's trying to be a Barry Allen. Wouldn't you like that? I'm starting to wonder, did I close all of them? I guess I did. Okay, so I guess you don't want him to be Zoom. But nah, I think they're going to try to explain his powers. in a sort of some sort of a meta quantum kind of way, as opposed to just a guy who was hit by lightning. And as sadly as usual, they're probably going to overthink it, and already we can see it with the costume. They made that whole elaborate costume about him needing some sort of costume made with a 3D printer, and it was made using plans from the NASA or something. Because he needs a costume that will not burn because of the friction or something like that. But then what will happen whenever he tries to use his powers without the costume? Either they're gonna have to ignore the fact that he needs this costume to be in order to be able to go fast, or they'll try to rip his clothes or something, or what are they going to do? And already we saw him the BVS film, like essentially when there's the footage of him in the 7-Eleven, and he stops the guy from doing his burglary. He's not wearing his costume. He uses his super speed, and his clothes did not tear up or anything. So why does he need this super costume made by NASA or something and made with a 3D printer? Or so it makes no real sense. They're overthinking it, and they're trying to find reasons. Let's say like for the costumes, that when it's not really needed. So let's see. Well, the armored looks is something they seems to be pushing, at least since the New 52, and they did use that in Injustice: Gods Among Us, which did seem to be fairly popular. Although even in DC Universe Online for a while, they were giving us those big bulky armors for no good goddamn reason. So you can see that somehow, somewhere, someone thinks that big bulky armor is the way to go, and someone seems to think that, oh yeah, big armor is cool. But not no, I don't really agree with that. So let's see. Let's try and clear out a few of our missions, especially the what was supposed to be the main mission.
That and more will be
Oh, I
ours
was on
when
the right
Trigon
track.
rises. Now, find the last obelisk to channel wrath and unleash it on this so-called place of eternal peace.
Come on, the son of Satan is Damon Hellstrom, isn't he? Well, which makes me wonder if we'll see him in the Defenders. I guess we have a mission here we could pick up. Oh no, it's a poster. Speaking of the Flash. Charlie Cox, that's the guy playing Daredevil, right? He's okay. I didn't love him, but I didn't mind him either. I thought he did a good job with what he had. Well, just give me 1 second. I'm being distracted a bit. There we go. So no, Charlie Cox did a good job. He was a fine Matt Murdock. He kind of looked the part. He was muscular enough, but not to the point where he looked like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So it was okay.
The citizens of magic think their sun's stars will maintain balance.
The one I really liked was Karen Page. I think I had a bit of a crush on her. She was really pretty. Although it didn't make much sense in the second season where she suddenly becomes a reporter with no training, no skills, no nothing, and somehow what's his name? The guy in charge of the paper decides to give her a job as a reporter. It was like, okay. But that's a minor nitpick. Rosario Dawson was did a good job in that show, and she seems to be the one who will cross over from show to show. Like she was in Jessica Jones. She's going to be in Luke Cage. Iron Man didn't go in space all that much, and at some point he built himself some sort of space armor. Yeah, she was I'm not sure if she was a doctor or a nurse. I think she was just a nurse, but I could be mistaken. But I seem to recall she was a nurse. A lot of us thought that she would be the night nurse. Essentially, there's this nurse in the Marvel Universe who essentially treats superheroes, for lack of a better explanation. So we thought she would be the night nurse, seeing how she was in Daredevil, and she popped into Jessica Jones, and now she's going to be in Luke Cage. I guess the one character I really didn't like was Elektra, and I guess that's okay because from watching the show, I don't think she was meant to be likable. So I guess they did a good job with that. But the Punisher, holy crap, he was awesome. I assume you're talking about the Adam West Batman TV show. Oh yeah, it was awesome, especially at the time. I know in retrospect, a lot of people like to bash on that show, but at the time, it's all we had. It's as good as it ever got in terms of superheroes. We were really happy to have that.
Leave that alone!
Ah crap. It was awesome. And it was even more awesome when you would see the villains team up, especially in the essentially the movie they made where all the villains team up against the Batman.
Dispatch Unit 13 here.
I think I have about 45 or 50 characters, and somewhere in that range. Well, Robin was spot on. He was just like in the comics, but pretty much the most of the show was spot on, just like the comics. But people seems to forget about that. They compare it with Batman, the incarnation of Batman that came later on.
The dark magic rises within you. Return to Brother Blood before the power wanes. Once you corrupt the Titans,
Like it's one of the reasons why I have a hard time with things like screen rants or lists like that. Is that very often they don't seem aware of what happened before, or when they try to talk about what happened before, they don't have any context of why it was like that. So sometimes they'll compare. Like at some point there was I don't think it was screen rants. I think it was like the Blockbuster Buster was talking about the Batman Adam West TV show, and he didn't understand why it wasn't gritty like the Neil Adams Batman at the time, and that's because it wasn't. It was based on the Carmine Infantino Batman from just before, or even better the what was it called? Anyway, it was based from the incarnation before the Batman by oh, sorry about that. It was based on the incarnation before Neil Adams. But for him, he didn't understand. He didn't, and because he had no context of again, maybe that's the whole thing. Like maybe he was trying to be funny and was being ignorant on purpose, or maybe he just didn't know. That sometimes it's hard to tell with YouTube channels because they're very often their main concern is not really to be accurate. It's they're trying to be funny very often. So if odds are if they think it's going to be more funny to say something that is not quite true, then odds are that's what they'll do. No, it's not a matter of growing up with. It's a matter of being able to understand the context of the time. Like I didn't grow up in the 50s, but I can watch shows from the 50s or movies from the 50s. And I can understand the context that those shows. I can understand how those shows worked in the context of the 50s, even though I didn't grow up in the 50s. Oh, sorry about that. But there seems to be quite a lack of younger people being able to understand the context of what happened before their time, if it makes any sense. Like I remember for a long time, one thing that was driving me crazy was that was like 10 or 15 years ago. Friends who were in their 20s and who essentially they could not watch any movies before Jurassic Park. Like any movies before 1991, they could not watch any of those movies because they thought the pacing was off, the visual effects were off to them. They were so used to seeing CGI that any movie that did not have CGI looked wrong to them. And they had absolutely no sense of context of what had happened before their time. It was a little strange to notice. And now we see the very same thing with millennials, with people essentially who were born in 2000. Like they have very little knowledge of anything that happened before 2000, and they have no context for it. Well, the serious Batman was essentially a reaction to the funny to the Batman to the Adam West Batman. Essentially, for many years, even in the comics, they were trying to move away from the campiness of the Adam West Batman and try to make it more respectable. Oh, I'm sure you do. That's the whole point. It's not a matter of when you're born. It's a matter of being able to appreciate what happened before your time and to be able to view it in context. So the fact that you're 12, sure, yeah, I would love to show you a lot of old movies, and I'm sure you'll love a lot of them. But there's a lot of people who sadly can't seem to be able to watch anything before their time. And it's not because they didn't grow up with it. It's something else. Spider-Man was awesome in comics. Sadly, in the mid 80s, they started making him more and more grim and gritty for some reason. Essentially, pretty much during the Todd McFarlane era, they started making the character more grim and gritty. Not sure if it's because probably at the time Grim and Gritty was selling a little better. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the justification behind making Spider-Man darker and grimmer and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, exactly. Star Trek is a great example of that. Again, a lot of people try to make fun of the low budget and the cheesy costumes sometimes or the cheesy sets. But the theme of the show is why it endured.
Welcome, champion. Ready to deal some punishment? The necromancer, Felix Faust, is defying my will, hoping to attain godhood.
Yeah, once in a while you'll see some old stuff on YouTube, so it's always worth a watch when that happens.
Defies the goddess Circe.
Although I guess part of the problem is probably because of the cable or the broadcasters, I should say. Essentially, a lot of yeah, it was a Hurura. She was the communications officer. Essentially, you saw her also in the latest incarnation of Star Trek. It's one of the characters that they kept. But I guess part of the problem is that at some point broadcasters, hi Bank Sonics. I guess at some point broadcasters stopped showing older stuff for reasons. So that might be part of the reason. No, I did not make Inertia. I'm not sure if I'm going to make another Speedster. What I would probably end up doing instead is I could possibly give an Inertia Armory to one of my Speedster. If I make Inertia, that's pretty much what I'll do. Because I already have a 3 Speedster. I may add one more. Oh well, happy birthday, Bank Sonics. Oh, that's good for you, Bank Sonics. I hope you'll enjoy your time as a legendary player. I thought our friend Snap, whatever, would take that little thing. I would sing you happy birthday, but I don't want to lose half my subscribers, so sorry about that. The new series is pretty much just action, action, and action. It doesn't have the theme, sadly, that the old shows had. It's sadly the new Star Trek is pretty much Star Trek at the most superficial level. Well, thank you very much. Now we just need to bring this number to 4 millions, and we'll be in business. Oh yeah, they definitely did. Sadly, it's an issue that's been happening more and more where they over-design stuff. And I understand why they do that. It's a trick I used a lot as a designer myself. Essentially, a lot of people, if you put a billion useless designs, a billion useless detail in the design, most people won't be able to understand what they're seeing, so they'll think it's cool. So if you're trying to do a design for someone and you want to make sure they won't reject it, or you're trying to improve the odds of them not rejecting it, you put a billion useless details, and odds are they'll think it looks cool. Come on, 4 million. That's nothing, is it? Well, personally, I like the classic old cyborgs. I wish they would have gone with something like that, but I'm not crazy. I know it wouldn't happen.
The torture barely started before one of them gave up the goods. Felix Faust is funneling those souls to Black Adam to bring his wife Isis back from the dead. Kinky.
Oh, the plot thickens. Faust plans to bring Black Adam's wife, Isis, back to life. Isis, a kind, beautiful, and powerful goddess. Unthinkable! Black Adam is far too valuable a weapon to rejoin the forces of light. Quickly, use their portal within Gotham University and disrupt their ritual and conduct.
Oh, you got a deal, Black Flag. So create 1 million accounts by tomorrow, and you'll have my thanks. But then, of course, you're gonna have to watch videos with that 1 million account, of course.
I see you down there. I ain't opening the doors until you clear out all those zombies down there first. So I made a deal with some of the Joker's clowns. They stashed some of those presents with the Joker gas in them for me. They're worth a fortune on the planet.
Yeah, that's it. But seriously, I'm just kidding, guys. I appreciate having all of you, even if it's a modest number. You guys make me feel like a rock star. So, and I appreciate that. So thanks a lot, guys. I don't want you guys to think that I don't appreciate you. I do. It means a lot to me that you guys are here. Oh yeah, lots of old memories. Classic memories. Maybe. You've unmasked me. Darn it. So sadly, guys, if you, as you see, if you gain level too quickly, at some point you pretty much have to backtrack and try to clear out your what should have been your main mission as you leveled up. Although it is much easier being doing the mission higher level. Higher level. It depends. For a while, I would have said on PC, especially when I was playing on PS3. On PS3, at some point, the game was getting to be pretty much unplayable. And if you're playing on PS3, yeah, play on console instead. It's much better. Yeah, you have to. Essentially, the emblem is nice, but you have to backtrack at some point. So for the console and PC, if you have a PS3, play on PC. It's not even a question. With PS4, it depends. A year ago on PS4, the game was flawless. It would load very quickly. No, actually, there was no loading time. That was awesome. Essentially, the level, as soon as the level appeared, everything was loaded. Now there's a slight delay of 3, 5, 10 seconds sometimes, where things are loading or rendering. But holy crap! A year ago, it was instantaneous. It was there was no delay at all. And a year before that, I had the same thing on PC. Sadly, with time, I guess they don't optimize the game well enough. So as time goes by, the more they add DLCs to the game, and the more the game is not quite as performing as well, which is a bit of a shame. But what can you do? The problem is that at some point, the way things are going, at some point the game will have the same issues on PS4 than it does on PS3 right now. So at some point, even on PS4, the game will be unplayable. So what will be the answer then? The answer will be to upgrade to PS4 Neo. Are we going to have to upgrade our console every, I don't know, 3 years to keep up with DCUO? I hope not.
So, the deathless obelisk's Faust is using to safeguard his portal can only be destroyed by his soulless. Ready to sell your soul? At least for the moment.
And the same on PC. Essentially, the game worked better on PC a year and a half ago when I bought my PC. Actually, more than that, maybe 2 years ago. So the same is true on PC. The more the game goes forward in time, and the more it seems to be demanding, or not quite as optimized as it could be. But right now on PS4, the game works fine. So if you're by console, if you're talking about a PS4, the game is fine on PS4. But if you're talking about PS3, no, don't play on PS3. Play on PC instead. And on PC, I guess it depends. I guess how powerful your PC is. But even a crappy PC will be more powerful than PS3, I suppose. So again, don't play on PS3. So I guess we're done here then. Well, at some point, yeah, I would probably need to upgrade my graphic card or something like that. Although even the best card is barely better than the one I have right now, so I'm not sure how much of an upgrade I could do right now. And even upgrading my PC, right now the upgrade I could make, not so much, not a very good upgrade. So I don't know. Oh yeah, soul gems would work for Thanos. I guess you could try Infinity Gems also, or Infinity Gauntlet. Although it's not a very cool name, Infinity Gauntlet, but okay. So just a little trick. Usually here, you get easily jumped by enemy players. So if you don't want to get jumped by enemy players doing this mission, I'd suggest that you go to the PvE open world. Personally, usually I don't mind it so much, unless someone decides to camp the zone and kill you non-stop, then it could be a bit of an issue. I guess you hit it. That's one way to look at that. Actually, you don't want an Infinity Gem. You want the holodeck from Star Trek. Imagine playing this universe online in the holodeck. That would be so awesome. But who knows, with the VR, I'm not sure if we properly call them consoles. I guess if those work as well as they should, we're gonna have the something almost as good as a holodeck, maybe. Of course, there's always the danger room that we see in X-Men. Could be. So you're saying it's the new Skynet? Yeah, well, I read about that. Essentially, they had this comic called DC Universe Rebirth or something, or DC Rebirth. I forget. And essentially, what they're implying is that the New 52 was created by Dr. Manhattan. Because at the end of Watchmen, he does mention something along the lines of, "I'm going to go create a new universe" or something. And apparently, his new universe was to go and create the New 52. Although then there seems to be this whole storyline about someone stealing 5 years from the New 52 or something. About 5 years from 5 years or 10 years from the DC universe. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how they play out. Because the thing is, they've planted a lot of things. But we don't know. We have no idea when they're going to pay off with that. Are they going to stretch that mystery for a year, a month, 3 years? We don't know. Yeah, I can understand if you had bad memories of this mission. If you had heroes jumping you while you were doing the mission, I can see how it would be a bad memory. Because for a long time, this was the spot that people would park this place. Because essentially, once you're transformed as a zombie, you cannot run away. So you're pretty much stuck. It's fight or die, and usually it's die. You usually had overgeared. Oh, I made a boo boo. And the use till 5 years could be. I'm not sure how many of those I still need. Just one more. Well, right now I'm high level enough that a large mob would not be an issue. But I can understand that at the time, at some point, you attract pretty much anything that's around you. So it can be a bit rough if you're just at the appropriate level. As I mentioned, even worse if you're playing on the PvP open world and you have evil villains or evil players, I should say, who are essentially camping kills, farming player kills here. Then yeah, this probably wasn't a good mission to play at the time. Nowadays, it's not as much an issue, but because the PvP open world is not as populated as it used to be. Or for quite a while, when people wanted to farm player kills, this is one of the places they would go to. Because again, as a zombie, it's kind of hard to try and run away. Oh, we have a player here. Like usually in the open world, if a player tries to jump you, you can pretty much try and run away. But here, when you're transformed as a zombie, it's a little more difficult. So this was a good spot where players would go to try and farm player kills. I guess there's still players trying to farm player kills once in a while. But I guess he got a little surprise.
Dissertation notes. The consent of Anubis is required for any trial.
Well, yeah, if you're at the appropriate level, yeah, when a whole bunch of enemies spawn, like if you're already fighting those enemies and then a whole bunch of them spawn again, it can be a rough if you're low level. And it's especially true down there. Like down there, it's very easy to get overrun by enemies on all sides, and especially if a whole bunch of them spawn at the same time. Holy crap, you can be in trouble pretty quick. Usually with a low-level character, what I would do is that I would stick pretty much to where I am right now, and I would just walk from one side to the next, and I would slowly collect the objectives I need.
Stop! You disgusting undead beast!
Not really an issue right now, but with other characters, that's what I would do. So I would just run around here and collect these little guys.
No!
in order not to end up being overrun by a lot of, like, you can see all the red dots on the map. There's quite a lot of them, so it's very easy to get overrun if you're not careful, and especially if you're playing a character that if you're playing, let's say, a tank that will attract all the enemies around him, or if you're playing someone who's using a pistol with, let's say, an attack like full auto, then holy crap, you can easily end up attracting all the enemies in a 5-mile radius or something. I was trying not to beat the snot out of her, but so essentially I just need one more, and I can't find one. Oh yeah, now I see it. Oh, let's see where our friend is. Leaving. I thought he was going to try to shoot us from up high. Sometimes they'll do that, like they'll put themselves above the entrance and then they'll try to attack you from up high. But I guess not today. Oh, I just realized we reached the 2-hour mark. And ideally, I know it's tempting, try not to one-shot the enemies. They're supposed to have fixed that with a lot of them, but sometimes if you kill an enemy too quick, you run the risk of glitching the mission. 13 more hours! And you guys think I'm demanding with my 4 million subscribers. I don't think we're going to keep up for 13 hours. The thing is, I don't think I can. I think there's a limit with YouTube. Like, I believe the maximum would be 3 hours for a video, although I could be mistaken. I never tried to live stream for 12 hours, so don't even know if it's possible.
Dissertation notes. The jackal-headed god of the east, Duwamuta, escorts the dead to heaven.
Sorry about that. I think I heard something. There she is, Diva. So again, backtracking, not too bad, seeing how your pretty much overgeared for the mission, but you still need to play the mission.
Everything is in place. Stand back, Blackadder, and watch your love return to our world.
Ghost. What trickery is this? She does not live. Her flesh, it's rotting. Give her more of your powers. Do not hold back. Growing so weak. The powers of
11 more hours. Oh, now you're talking.
pitiful Blackadder. Death, Adam, forever.
Ghost. What have you done? These close to me, dearest Adam.
Yeah, 13 was not reasonable, but 11 is fine.
Dissertation note. The goddess of motherhood and magic, and the protector of the dead, the breath of Isis.
I am an evil man.
Poor Black Adam. He's not evil, he's just misunderstood. And now he's going to be the Rock. Which will probably be very cool. So let's get out of here and let's go collect our reward, I suppose. There's an evil hero. Black Adam is pretty cool. Wrong way. The skimming colors, it's pretty simple. Just give me a second.
So Faust still lives. After Black Adam and Circe are done with him, I'd imagine he'd sell his soul again, just to be free of their torment.
Killer Frost just called in for society backup from the tap room. I'm alerting Lex Luthor. If what's happening in Gotham is what I think it is, Lex is gonna want in. Talk to Frost in the nightclub.
Okay, for the skimming, essentially, you have to go into your color tab, and the color that influenced the skimming is the very first color. So whatever this color here at the end that I'm selecting, whatever color this is, that's going to be the color of your skimming. So if you want to have your skimming blue, you put that color blue. If you want to have your skimming orange, you put that color orange. That essentially the first color is the one that will influence the color of your skimming. No problem. So let's go back to our base. I don't think I need to, but just to be sure. So I think that's going to be it for now, guys. Essentially, I'm just going to repair and sell and crop like that. So I won't waste your time with that. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So essentially, I'm going to make a video or two about the Central City gear. Essentially, I'm not sure yet if I'll make one video for the villain and the hero gear, or if I'll make one video each. I'm still making up my mind. We'll see how it goes. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.